Welcome to Bridal Owner Success Stories. I'm your host, Mindy Linscomb, founder of Bridal Owner Success School, also known as BOSS. Each episode of this podcast, we will dive deep into hearing the stories of successful bridal shop owners, uncovering their biggest challenges and their valuable life lessons. I can't wait for you to get to know them as well. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to the Boss Podcast, where we get to hear bridal owner success stories. I'm Mindy Linscomb, your host, and I'm so excited to have a friend here all the way internationally from Canada. We have Brooke from Runway Bridal. Hi, Brooke.
Hello.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, we're going to have a great talk today. I'd love to hear if we could just start with the best story of years ago. You'll have to tell us how many years ago it was now, where you had a wild idea to have a bridal store. Because honestly, every time I get on these episodes, nobody ever intended when they were growing up to open a bridal store. That's usually not our path. We fell into it in some crazy way. So, can you tell our listeners kind of the beginning of like, what were you doing in life at that time when you decided to jump into a bridal?
Yeah, I feel like I wasn't doing much at the time because I was pretty fresh out of college. I went to school for marketing and actually, long story short, went to school originally for sales and marketing and then switched my program to more marketing because I thought I am never doing sales. Ew. And here we are doing sales for many years. So that was 14 years ago. And I ended up actually at the time was working for a local real estate company. And I would just see some of the commercial listings come through the office. And I thought, hey, a bridal store, I could do that. That would be fun. I was 24 at the time. And I thought if I want to try this, now is the time because I don't really have anything to lose. At that time, I didn't own a house. I didn't own all the things. And worst case, I could move back in with my parents if I really had to. So um, I bit the bullet. I did it. My parents thought I was crazy for doing something.
Here's my question though. Like, was a business for sale or you just started it from scratch?
It was an existing business for sale
And how did you even find it?
from the listing that came across the desk that it was available from the real estate company I worked at.
And so you're just like, maybe I'll just totally change careers.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really have a career at the time. I was so fresh out of school, so why not make one?
I love it. And was the real estate company like upset that you left?
No, actually, in the time frame, I had worked for another sort of a real estate company, a home builder, and doing the same sort of marketing job. So it was fine.
Yeah, it wasn't like they were like, you're leaving us?
I don't think so.
Okay, so I imagine most of us that have heard the stories of people buying things, did you feel looking back that you overpaid or underpaid for that?
I underpaid.
Ooh, so you got a good deal. And you have a lot to change. And did the owner teach you much when you took over?
I didn't have a lot to change, and honestly, that was my intention. When I purchased the store, I really had no experience in even I was young enough, like, not even a lot of my friends had been married, so I really was new to wedding world other than what I watched on TV, when I was younger, but, I liked the branding, I liked the current sort of, um, situation of the store, and so I also wanted to be intentional about things that I did change and kind of just get my feet wet and understand it all before going in and making a bunch of changes, so that the existing clients felt that I was staying on track with what they thought, the business was. So, yeah, I didn't change a whole lot. Obviously, over the last 14 years, a lot has changed and evolved. But the original branding is pretty much still there. And yeah.
I love that. Well, what do you feel like in your personality? What do you feel like was like, hey, because I had these certain personality things already innately in me, what were some of those things that you felt like you could bring to the table that helped you as a bridal shop owner? Because I know that there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I kind of have this gift And I think that would be good for bridal, but maybe not. Like, what were some of how you just already are? Like, what brought goodness to your brand?
I don't know. I mean, I still think back to when I purchased the store and I don't really know what I was thinking. I just thought it would be exciting.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, and I mean, I guess I was so young, I was a little bit naive as well, clearly. And, I don't know, my parents were not entrepreneurs, but my grandfather was, and I didn't know a lot about his entrepreneurial, endeavors until, kind of later on in life, and he had passed, which I that's one thing I wish, like, I could go back and chat with him more about, but, I don't know, I felt I had a marketing background, and I just felt, I guess, without knowing that taking my own path or being my own boss was really appealing to me. I remember when I was in school, I felt like I would be working in the city in my power suit with my briefcase, walking down the sidewalk every day. And that's not the reality of what I actually wanted. So this was a great way to test the waters in terms of owning my own business. And I would like to say it has worked out pretty well over the last few years.
Yes. I mean, 14 years and you have gotten better and bigger over that time frame. So you are definitely one of the most amazing success stories I think of in the industry for sure. I am curious what has been like some of the most unexpected happy things that came from owning a bridal store that you didn't even know was going to be a part of your journey that you're like, oh my gosh, that was even cooler than I thought. And then, of course, you know where we're headed after that.
Yeah, I think honestly, maybe it sounds cliche, but relationships, I mean, it's pretty cool. We're in a fairly small town, and it's pretty cool to be out and about and recognize people and them recognize me and me know that they're one of our brides. And just other relationships in the community in terms of networking and business owners and things like that. So those are really great. And then, of course, like all of the relationships I've made in this industry that are way outside of even where I live. I've met so many friends and so many people to lean on. It is really a small industry at the end of the day. And I've made some amazing friendships of people who I get to see, a few times a year or check in with if I have questions or need to bounce ideas off of any of them.
I know. And I always think like we've become good friends. And I'm like, I would have never met Brooke near Toronto if it wasn't for the bridal industry. And I think that's, like you said, one of the really unexpected perks of owning a bridal store. And we all have so much in common, even though we're in these different cities. Like we're similar age demographics, kind of similar goals, financial like strategies and dreams, right? And so that's pretty special. Okay, now what I'd love to ask is like what are some of the things that were like very like you just came out of left field, had no idea it was going to be like this, surprises and potentially not so good surprises about being an entrepreneur or more specifically being a bridal shop owner that you have realized over the last 14 years?
Yeah, I think the biggest one being an entrepreneur is like you really just don't ever get to fully shut off. So, it's nonstop. Like you can turn off, but you don't really ever turn off, in my opinion. You're always checking emails, you're checking messages, people are messaging you. Um, so it is really hard to kind of find that balance of learn to navigate all of that because it can be a little bit overwhelming and can cause burnout, obviously. Um, and I think the hardest part in like bridal specifically is just like some of the customer service stuff that you get. Obviously, you want everybody to be happy, and it is a happy time, but you like it's hard sometimes because some things are out of your control. But yeah, I think just customer service things can be tricky for sure.
Yeah, I would say if I were to relate to you on that is I don't think I realized when I went into this that it was like this is going to be truly a 24/7 commitment. Even if I'm on vacation and even if I want to go to bed, when I wake up there might be 3 text messages about something that happened Or I remember being overseas out of town and lightning struck our boutique and all of our memory on our hard drive, everything was fried. And so I'm just saying, like, then my staff is nervous and I'm like, I'm across the globe, you know? So I'm just saying it never stops when you are the business owner. You can put as many systems and processes in place and have the absolute best team. But at the end of the day, everything stops with you. So I appreciate you saying that because I think that's really honest and real. And people need to hear it more that like entrepreneurship doesn't ever pause. Like when you're the boss, you're the boss. Um, and then what was the second part of what you were saying? You were like, "Hey, it keeps going," but then, oh, customer service issues.
Service, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, we don't ever anticipate or plan for those moments because we just think it's gonna be happy all the time.
Right.
What have you done to kinda manage your feelings when it comes to not getting burnt out? Like you said, I'm surprised that you haven't burnt out, or maybe you have and you've had to do some, like, soul searching to get back in the game, but what have you done to manage the burnout and all the hard things?
Yeah, I think that was an interesting time to talk about that because I am sort of being put back in full force because of some change of roles within my staff. So I did feel like I finally got to a place the last few years where I was not coasting, but felt like I had been able to step back a little bit from time to time. And, but just like entrepreneurship is, you never know what's going to happen from day to day. So, we are just in between hiring right now. And so I'm stepping in, and it's a busier time. It's a busier season for me. And to be honest, I feel like I had a couple of days where I was sort of like frustrated or pouting or whatever, because I was gonna lose some of that extra time that I had, but I tried to just really remember, like, this is a season, we're gonna get it sorted out, like, have your moment of, like, being annoyed, and then, like, let's make a plan and let's move forward, because the sooner that you move forward and make a plan, the sooner I can get back to hopefully being kind of in that nice, uh sort of not stepped back, that's not even the right way to say it, but just working on other things versus working in the store all the time.
Right, because we're taught, as entrepreneurs, always work on your business and not in your business. But when there are staffing changes, there are seasons where you do have to like jump back in. And that's absolutely normal. Over 18 years of my store, I have had so many roles because if I'm missing this, I all of a sudden have to be this. If I'm missing that, now I'm that. Like wherever the gaps are, we have to fill in to keep the thing going. And so I'm so proud of you for like kind of like pulling up your big girl pants, I guess is what we would all call it, and be like, hey, it's not necessarily my first choice, but I'm doing it for the big sake of the company so that it is profitable and successful for the years to come. And when you find your next hire, it'll be great. You'll change and start working on other things in your business, like you said. Um,
Be really great. I mean, who knows what if I hire the right person, it could be even better.
Yeah, it could. It really could. And can I tell you a side bonus to some of these moments that I've even lately too have had to step into is it's almost like undercover boss. I'm like I'm finding little gaps that like I hadn't tuned up for a while. And so I'm like, "Oh, maybe I actually want to change one of our processes or maybe I want to edit how we say something because it didn't land so great when I tried it." And so I imagine in your temporary position that you have, you potentially are going to be able to really enhance some of that role so that when you do replace it and you go to train it, it's going to be the best training you've probably ever given.
Yeah, I think there are definitely some pros to me being back on the floor more. I mean, there was a time that every bride that walked through here, and now I don't know them as much. So I'm excited to just reconnect with the customers as well as my team from a day to day kind of process perspective as well.
Yeah. And I love like one of the things that's really great about Runway Bridal is like you do so many cool events in your store. I feel like even you mentioned the community recognizes you and things. I think that's something that you have that's pretty special they probably do recognize you more than maybe a normal bridal shop owner because you're involved in the community. So I'm curious, like, how do you feel like some of those events have supported your business? Do you like offering them? Are they worth the work? And, maybe what friendships in the community have really benefited your bridal shop?
Yeah, I think we learn from the best of the best. We've gotten some great ideas from you, of course, in terms of events in the store for either our customers or other wedding vendors. So thank you for that. And I think we sort of took a hiatus on a lot of in-store events and gathering and all the things over the last few years. And so it took us a minute to want to jump back into that kind of stuff. I think we just get used to not doing those things, right? So, after just like taking the step to get back into that kind of stuff, it is fun and it is refreshing to just collaborate with local vendors again and just get familiar. Um, there's a lot of really great wedding vendors in our area, and we all know of each other, but we rarely get to connect with each other and see each other. So, um, we are actually planning another event like that in the next month or so. So that'll be fun for the holidays.
That's awesome. Um, Okay, curious to ask you because I am thinking about burnout a little bit. This is a very normal thing for bridal shop owners because we're working weekends, we're working with high emotional clientele where this is a big life moment. So, what do you do outside of work to kind of stay refreshed? Like, let us get to know Brooke for a minute.
Yeah, I would say honestly, some days I don't love it, but I do try to work out at least 4 times a week. And I walk with my dog every day for the most part. So again, as much as those nights I'm like, "Oh, I'm so lazy, I don't wanna go for a walk," he pretty much makes me. He's very routine like that. So and once I'm out, the fresh air and just, being totally disconnected, during that walk is I think honestly helps me a lot. I didn't realize until I broke my foot a few years ago how much I actually really love those walks. So, um, it sounds simple, but that's what it is. And then I have also recently tried to start reading in the morning when I'm having my coffee instead of scrolling. So it's only been a few weeks now, but um, it is nicer. It's better.
I'm proud of you, Brooke.
Thank you.
You're
I
getting
think I took that from you as well. So
Well, I'm just gonna say morning habits and how you start your day is how you lead the day.
right.
I mean, it really is crazy how much it changes your energy and your optimism about what you have to do because I always think about discipline and I honestly feel like the people that are most successful are the most disciplined because it's not like we're doing anything sometimes that's like really innovative or different. Guess what we're doing though? We're just consistent. We keep showing up even if we don't feel like doing that job for the day. Like we keep showing up and we will do it till we retire. It's like and that's what's making our business valuable and successful. So I love that. I was gonna say, what's been some of your like if you were to look back over 14, what's like one of your main like, oh, that was one of my best memories as a bridal shop owner so far?
Ooh, I don't know if I have an answer for that. Hmm. I think outside of the store, honestly, it's the fun kind of spots that we get to travel and then getting to hang out with my bridal store friends. I think like some of those connections are super strong and I feel like having those trips, but like they're work trips, but they're also fun. Maybe taking me places I would have never gone outside of this. I think that's one of the most fun things for me.
Okay, great. Well, that makes me think about friendship. I think it would be really great to talk about it as we are on the final part of our episode. I don't know about you, but have you found it to be hard to connect with like your local friends that maybe don't have the pressures of business ownership and staff and things like that? Because for me, I'll just speak for me. I have found so much more connection with other owners even though we're not in the same town, but it's just like they get me and they understand me. And I'll do voice memos or, we'll text each other and I feel so much more connected even though I might not be able to go out to dinner with them on Tuesday night or go to a hockey game or go on a walk. How has the journey of friendship been for you from a local standpoint to industry standpoint? Where are your closest friends found?
Yeah, I think it's kind of not, I don't know, not sad, but it is kind of interesting how uh local wise I don't really have a lot of connections in terms of other store owners. There are a couple who are lovely.
I mean, I'm just saying like local, like friends that on your neighborhood, or I'm just talking about like friends in general. Like I'm talking how lonely it has been as an entrepreneur because most ladies I've known over the last 18 years, very few of them own their own businesses and handle. So I'm just saying locally, I've been realizing, and this is a just interesting topic, that as you grow and you're a business owner and you're working and you're developing this amazing company, like, isn't it hard to maintain local friendships and especially if they don't understand or correlate to what the pressures are that you carry?
Yes. Okay. So I would say sometimes it is hard because I don't know, everybody has pressures at their job and everybody's job is different in terms of how much they have in terms of responsibility. But it's still different than being an entrepreneur. So I would say a lot of my friends, to be honest, I've had since like my close friends I've had since I was quite young. A lot of my connections are from uh like very young, like kindergarten and high school. So I'm
And
really
you'll stay in touch with them?
yeah, we're all very close. Like we go away for weekends and we try to get together at least once a month, but so that's really special. And I mean, they can only understand so much because I usually don't like to talk about it when we're doing those things because it's my time to disconnect, but they're all so supportive and they try to understand, but it is different. I mean, nobody can really truly understand the way that my bridal store friends understand because they're in it every single day. I mean, lots of people in the industry probably have a similar understanding as well, but it's just different. It's nice to connect, I guess, in or have friendships in different ways, right? Like I have my friends that I've known forever that we just like disconnect and like have fun and talk about silly things, and then I have my professional friends who understand the day-to-day and the hardships and things like that and I also can have fun with and I get to like meet them in really fun places.
Yeah, I would say they fill a different cup, right?
Yeah.
So I have still maintained my local friendships very much so, but I think that would be one of my surprises that I didn't realize when I was younger and I started this whole thing that my local friendships will change and they will fill a need. They will fill a cup that I definitely want because sometimes it's nice to be with people that have no idea about film. We can talk about the latest, season of whatever show. But then I've searched for and been desperate for in my more older years, just that depth of friendship that I can have from people that are also, like you said, in the industry or entrepreneurs and carrying some of the same load. So you don't feel so alone. So I would say if it was somebody listening in the earlier phases, don't be surprised when your friendships change
Right.
and don't go to friends that aren't bridal shop owners for a certain kind of support or role because that's not the role that they're going to play. And go find your people in some other way, like at market or whatever.
I will say too, I'm really lucky because I actually found friendship in this industry really early on through a coaching program that I was in. So I was able to really establish some of those relationships early on. And it's funny because when we're talking about this right now, I've never really thought about it like that, but I have had those relationships pretty much my entire career, which is pretty special.
Very special. And it's something you're really good at. You are such a good friend to people. We are also lucky that Brooke Miller's in the world because you really are a good friend, a good support to others. And that's like a huge gift. It really is a huge gift. And I think about, like I said, they measure. I don't know if you ever read about old people and how they talk to them like what's keeping them alive longer, or these like statistics around like what makes longevity. And actually, one of the things that they say and research says is that the people that are healthiest the longest and live longest have really good relationships in their lives. They're not lonely alone, and the relationships keep them going. So I think about that as we get so busy, there's lots to do, we want to just go home, but it's important that we really seek out and invest in those friendships. So I think this is a really interesting topic to study is like you were winning from day one by getting those friendships early, but a lot of time people wait or don't make the time for it. And it's really important that we do. Yeah, totally. Well, do you have anything else that you'd like to say for people listening to just like your success story that you're like, hey, I really have this to credit to it?
Uh, Honestly, I think like it sounds cliche, but just grinding it out. Like if you want something, you have to put the work in. And it's not always going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's going to be days that you want to throw in the towel, weeks that you want to throw in the towel sometimes. But if you really want it, you just have to grind through it. And there will always be ebbs and flows and good and bad. And that's life, and you just learn to work through it and go with the flow and all of the things. I feel like every day is just so different. You never, you might come in the morning thinking like, "Oh, today's going to be so easy and I've just got this to do." And you open your email and that all changes. So, you just have to figure it out and um just I think for me it's kind of just, going into things head on, and the sooner you rip the Band-Aid off of some of those tougher situations, the sooner you can move on from it. So, but entrepreneurship is never boring.
Correct. But that is huge words of wisdom that you just left is like do the hard thing first and delay. Don't delay. Go for that hard thing because if you can get that done with, then you can move on to the fun things. But otherwise it'll just weigh on your shoulders for sure.
Exactly.
Well, you are a wise business owner and an extreme success story. Where can people follow along your journey when it comes to either your personal account and also your bridal shop accounts and your website? Give us all the details.
Yeah, so at Runway Bridal on Instagram or runwaybridal.ca. And for my personal, you can follow at Brooke, your bridal bestie on Instagram.
Love it. Well, I hope a lot of people start to follow you so they can learn from one of the best. Thank you for joining us today, Brooke. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Bridal Owner Success Stories. I hope you found some inspiration and encouragement for your own career in the bridal industry. If you enjoyed today's episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. We are in this together.